topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert Show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from experts on such topics as legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to our experts in community association law, estate planning law, tax relief, Medicare, public insurance adjusters, neuropathy treatment, business brokers, and personal injury law, along with many other topics. Now here's your host for the last 17 years, Steve O.
San Antonio, one of the most beautiful cities in the world. And you know what's going on in San Antonio Saturday night. You know, we're not a sports show, but oh my God, this series is going to be huge. And I love it for the people of San Antonio. I'm not going to tell you who I'm for, doesn't matter, but it's going to be a big game Saturday night. So I got to tell people, you know, one of the things that's so important to us is when we have our experts on, I want to make sure that they take care of our listeners and viewers. We are on 70 platforms, all the big ones, now even including TikTok. And I'm going to tell you something about our next expert. She is an expert when it comes to Medicare. The name of her company is Signature Senior Advisors. And folks, I'm going to tell you something. If you've not been involved with Medicare, it is probably one of the most confusing things. I'm telling you now, do not call these national ads and just look at what they offer. When you have a great agent like we have, I'm getting ready to introduce you to Susan Shimp. They do all the legwork for you. And a company like Susan, who represents many different companies, can give you a choice. But most of all, I feel so comfortable with her. I have seen the way she runs her company and just all the extra things she does. Like she flew out to Washington, D.C. And I got to tell you, none of my other Medicare shows around the country did. Let me welcome you to Susan Shimp.
Good afternoon. How are you, Steve?
Susan, I am so impressed with you. You do all the extra things, and that means that's how you treat your clients, is you're going to go out of your way to do all the extra things for them. Tell everybody about your company.
Well, thank you for that. And yes, I do pride myself in concierge service, and that's one thing I've done since 2015. Signature Senior Advisors is just a passion of mine. I help Medicare beneficiaries navigate the crazy world of Medicare because they don't give you instructions on Medicare. They don't teach you about this. They just throw it to you and you're like, what do I do? So to have somebody there to help guide you, to navigate you, to be there every step of the way, and that's what I do. That's what I enjoy, because I don't like people to be confused, and if I can educate them and be by their side, that's exactly what I love to do.
Susan, it is, anytime the government gets involved, it's going to be complicated. And I got to tell you that, and I know for a fact, because I've been through this, having a good agent makes the biggest difference in the world. And I've shared this with you, but since we've got this large audience now with TikTok, I want to let them know. I actually called one of the major insurance companies. It doesn't matter what their name is. But I called 4 times, Susan, and I got 4 different quotes.
Oh, yeah.
And it shouldn't be like that, should it?
No, and that's the thing is when you're calling these insurance companies, they're dealing with everyone all across the country. They're not focused specifically on your area. So, they're reading off scripts or they're just reading off of, what they know, but they don't know specifics about your plan, about your doctors, about your prescriptions. So I always tell my clients, the number one thing, if you have any questions, do not hesitate. Just call me. Call my office, call my team. We will help guide you because you will get the runaround. Sometimes you'll get a smart person on the phone when you call the insurance company. Sometimes you won't. So we're always smart enough to help guide you. So I always say go local.
Exactly. I'm going to tell, and I know you know this because you work with so many, your demographics is an older audience. I'm going to share something with people because I'm telling you, you can get in this maze. And by having an agent like Susan who will take care of all that for you, I know that my insurance company, I get so much mail from them. And it's almost like a book. I'm not going to sit there and read all that. But here's what you end up missing if you don't have a good agent. There's companies that pull out of markets, and like me, I just toss it in the garbage. But if you don't have a good agent, you're going to miss out on that. Does that make
Absolutely.
sense?
Absolutely, because a lot of people don't know. Like they'll get a letter from the insurance company during the annual enrollment time saying, guess what? Your plan is terminating.
Yes.
And they either read it and they don't understand it or they just toss it like you said. And so me as the agent, I know what's terminating, so I'm going to be proactive. I'm going to call you. I'm going to say, hey, we got to switch your plan is not being offered again for 2027. And so I take the proactive approach to notify you because yes, you do get a lot of mail and nobody wants to sift through it. I actually have clients that bring their stacks of mail into my office and we go through it, toss, keep. So it's something that I know that's a solicitation of sales letter. This is legit from your insurance company. So I do help them with that too. But yes, some of the letters you do have to read and understand. Some of them you can just toss away. But that's where I come in and can help guide you on that.
So I'm getting a lot of people from TikTok writing in. What changes are you seeing so far for 2027?
Well, it's a little early. We know there's going to be changes. That's inevitable because Medicare is kind of reducing what they pay to the insurance companies pretty significantly. So there's going to be cuts. What kind of cuts? Mostly those little extra dangly stuff, the over the counter, the
Mm.
vision, the dental, the fitness, those may either be reduced or cut altogether. So we're waiting to see about that. Now, the Medicare bids are going in. The insurance companies are bidding right now with with Medicare, and they should be finalized probably the middle of July. So that means then they can start formulating their plans for 2027. Now, we as agents get to see some sneak peeks, maybe August, early September. So we get to see what's coming out ahead. But right now, there's really no major things that are sneaking out, but we just know there's going to be some cuts.
So, uh, and I absolutely figured that out. I knew that was going to happen. And I'm already seeing it happening already,
Yeah.
just in eyeglasses and how it's, oh my God, it's gone up so much on out of pocket money. I want to get to because, and again, we're not going to make this a political show, but I
Mhm.
heard the president talking about GLP-1 and starting July the 1st. What
Yes.
can you tell us about that?
This is a really I think, an awesome program. So a lot of people who, want to lose weight, but they don't have a chronic condition like diabetes, cardiovascular disease, that kind of stuff. They could not get on the Ozempics and the Mounjaros and stuff for the weight loss. Those were specific for chronic conditions. Now, July 1st, there's this new GLP-1 bridge program, which doesn't run through your Medicare plan. Okay. So it's a program that runs through Medicare. And what happens is anyone who, just wants to lose weight, basically, they don't have to have a chronic condition. They can get on this program. Now, there is qualifications. You have to have certain BMIs. The doctor has to make sure that it's going to be the right fit for you. But there's 3 medications that are coming out, $50 a month. Crazy. So it's Wegovy, Zepbound, and Fundeo. And Fundeo is a pill form, and Wegovy has a pill form too, but it's actually the pen. So, the nice thing is people are now able to afford this and lose weight, but not only lose weight, they can reduce the risk of diabetes. They can reduce, joint pain. They can, a bunch of different risk factors now can help with taking these, because it's shown to help kind of not heal your body, but give you a little bit better, outlook on your health.
Susan, will people go through you to get on this program, or they go through their doctor?
That's a good question. So they have to get the authorization from the doctor. The doctor
Okay.
has to approve them. And then the doctor will submit to that bridge program. Okay. So then you just go to the pharmacy and then they would pay the $50. But it's not through the Medicare plan. So it's only for people who have Medicare, but it's not through their prescription drug plan. It's through this alternative program.
So it won't go through your yearly, how much you have to spend.
Correct. Right.
Okay. And I don't know if people know this, but these I call them a skinny injection, but they're anywhere from $900 to $1,300 a month.
Yeah, they're ridiculously high. And that's where
Yeah.
these insurance companies, these drug manufacturers are making a killing off of this, right? Because everybody wants to get on them and they're willing to pay that, but now it's going to be more affordable. But here's the caveat. This is just a temporary program. Okay.
Yes.
So it
That's
only
what
starts
I-
July 1st and it runs through December of 2027. And why it's temporary is because they're just trying it out. So they're trying to see how much actual financial damage it could do on a prescription drug plan through the insurance company, to see if that's going to be even viable for the insurance companies to handle.
Well, what's a shame is, because I know a lot about this. First of all, you have to stay on it.
Yeah.
That's the downside. And so, God, if they take this away and
Yeah.
end of 2027, then you're kind of back to square one again. But
Yeah.
Susan, I want to tell you something, and I hope you'll add this when you're talking to people about this. I think I've shared with you, I'm on Ozempic, and I got to tell you, I hate sharing this kind of private information, but I was at stage 4 kidney failure.
Oh, wow.
And with kidneys, you can never make them better, but you can keep them from getting worse.
Yeah.
And I went on Ozempic, and I went from stage 4 to stage 3.
That's awesome.
And my doctor said, I have never seen this before. And I think because, it's still kind of a new drug, they don't know still all the positive things. So I will stay on this drug. If I don't lose 1 pound, I will stay on this drug. So what I'm trying to get across is there's more to this drug than just losing weight.
Yes. It's an overall, medically viable medication for a bunch of different chronic conditions.
So I guess I wanted to also talk about I've seen some, we're talking about these national commercials, and they're not all what they say they are. I've seen that there's some companies now being sued for false advertising.
Yes, and one of the biggest call centers that you probably get phone calls from is called Go Health, just filed bankruptcy. And what that
Wow.
means, yeah, so what that means is that they've had way too many complaints to Medicare. They have basically, overpromised a plan and then never delivered. And they were scamming people, right? So basically what that means is they're going under, and the agents who were actually using the call center as their employer, they are no longer allowed to be contracted with some of the insurance carriers now. So they're even being blackballed from the insurance companies because they were affiliated with that Go Health, which is a good thing.
Yes. So, Susan, I think we have a lot of people out there who still know nothing about Medicare, and that's okay. That's why we have shows like this. Tell people what happens if they miss the enrollment period.
Well, there's definitely different enrollment periods. So when you're turning 65, you have a 7-month window. It's called your initial enrollment period to get onto Medicare. And it depends. Are you working or are you not working? If you are working, how many employees are in your employment? That will determine when or if you should get on Medicare. Okay, so it's a 7-month window. So it's 3 months before your birthday and 3 months after your birthday. If you're unsure, you can always give us a call and we can help you. And then what if you're still working past the age of 65 and you didn't take Medicare because you had credible coverage through your employer? Well, then you have a special enrollment which allows you to get on Medicare at any time after you lose coverage or you retire because you've had credible coverage. So then that gives you like an 8-month window of when you can enroll before you get penalized. So then with that, there's 2 forms you have to fill out and all that good stuff. But without, knowing your enrollment periods, once you're turning 65, whether or not you're working or not, you just want to get some guidance. And that's why I always say, just call us. We'll walk you through whether or not you get on Medicare or not. We just want to make sure that you don't get a penalty.
Yes. I was talking about how you go the extra mile. One of the things I just learned that you do is you actually have seminars or classes each month.
Yes. So I usually hold about 4 a month, and it's just educational seminars to teach you about Medicare. We go through A through Z of the alphabet of Medicare. Teach you about the enrollment periods. We teach you about how Medicare works. We teach you how the additional plans, the supplemental plans, the Medicare Advantage plans work. We teach you how prescription drugs work, how the tier levels work. So really, it's an all-encompassed education, but I make it fun. I don't make it like you're like, I'm listening to somebody with Medicare. Great. You're listening to somebody who has passion, who enjoys what they do. I make it fun. People are laughing, and I'm like real informal. And I just say, ask questions, because the more questions you ask, the more educated you are.
I just got a text from TikTok saying, I adore Susan. And
Oh,
I wanted to say that because, people, especially, 65 and up, are nervous about all this. And
yeah.
they're nervous about getting ripped off. They're nervous about scams. And what we show here on the show is Susan is so passionate about what she does. And she does go the extra mile. And this is the type, and it doesn't cost you anything. I mean, Susan's paid by Medicare, right, Susan?
So Medicare does set our rates, but we do get paid by the insurance companies through
Yes.
Medicare. But yeah, I'm a free service for you. So why not sit down with somebody and get the expert advice that you need, you know? So there's no obligation. It's just learning and
Right.
making that decision is a big step when it comes to Medicare.
And Susan, you do all the legwork for them.
Yes, I literally do everything. I look at your doctors, I look at your prescriptions, I look at, your health history. We look at the whole picture because it's not about just one time. It's about your whole life and how it's going to affect your future. So, that's one thing that we do look at is the whole you. And we don't just sell one plan, we sell all plans. So, as a broker, we're not contracted with just one insurance company, we're contracted with multiple. So, know that we're not pushing one plan over another because everyone's going to be extremely different when it comes to their health.
So I've already got a topic for next month. Susan's with us every month. So I've got, I think, looks like about 20 people who have written, when will you be talking about Medicare Advantage? And that is a whole different animal.
Yes.
And you were so good at that. You were so knowledgeable at that. So we're going to have to make that one of
We
our
could do a whole show about Medicare
Yes.
Advantage.
Exactly. And, for all the people who are writing in on YouTube and on TikTok, we know we've got the best. You don't have to tell us that. Susan, tell people all the different ways they can get a hold of you.
Sure. I'm available pretty much everywhere. I'm on Facebook. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. I'm on YouTube, but I'm also local in New Braunfels and San Antonio. I do have a physical office in New Braunfels, which is right by Buc-ee's. It's called the Signature Senior Advisors. You can get a hold of me by calling our number 210-767-9876. You can go to our website, www.signaturesenioradvisors.com. And we can do in-person appointments. We can do Zoom appointments. We can do phone appointments. I can go to your house. It doesn't matter. I just want you to get the education that you deserve.
See, I told you she goes the extra mile. Susan, I got to tell you, we are so blessed to have you. I always look so forward to your show. Susan will be back again with us next month, and I'm going to have to start playing some of her shows, just looking at the numbers. Hey, we appreciate all the TikTok questions. I'm sorry we couldn't get to them all. 25 minutes goes by very fast. Susan, We'll see you next month.
See you later. Follow me on TikTok.
That's Susan Shimp. It's the Signature Senior Advisors. And that's going to do it for us today. We'll be back again with you next week with more Ask the Experts.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.